Hello, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In continuation to the previous session, where we discussed about qualitative and quantitative research, here I will tell you about the data collection procedures, few steps, and a few analysis tips for qualitative research only. For quantitative research, the data collection procedure and analysis tips will be done later. As you know, the qualitative research is one of the very much important procedure where we need to know about the reasoning of anything. So for qualitative research, selecting the appropriate data collection method depends on the research question, nature of study, sources available, and level of depth and detail we needed. Many qualitative researchers use a combination of methods to triangulate data and enhance the validity and reliability of their findings. In previous session, we discussed about the comparison between qualitative and quantitative, where we actually decided all the researches where we need in-depth review, where we need in-depth reasoning, we use qualitative research. So for qualitative research, if we need the in-depth insider point of view, we need to discuss with the subjects, with the people, with the patients. When we need to discuss with the people, we may need to have face-to-face interview using some questionnaires. We may have some online surveys. We may have some phone interviews. We may opt any recording or video option to have the insight of the subjects regarding some particular problem. In in-depth interview, as it shows from its name, in depth. In in-depth interview, we conduct one-to-one interview with participants, allows researchers to explore their thoughts, their feelings, their experience, and perception in depth about our research problem or about our title of the research. Semi-structured or open-ended questions are often used to encourage participants to share their perspectives. Definitely, when we make the closed questions, when we will give the options, when we will restrict the participant to choose from any of the given option or category, they will not be able to tell about their inside feelings. They will not be able to tell you the true feelings, what they have about the topic. In focus group discussion, it involves a small group of participants discussing a particular topic or issue under the guidance of a moderator. This method encourages the interaction and can reveal group dynamic and share the perspective regarding your research area. So in in-depth interview, we actually have face-to-face interview, individual to individual interview. While in focus group discussion, we have a group of people whom we discuss about the research question and the answer. This is very much important to know that what sample size is there in the focus group. So generally, it depends upon the topic. And if it is not rare, if it is general topic, the scientist says that any sample size from 5 to 30 people are enough as per the choice of your availabilities. So, participant observation. Researchers immerse themselves in the environment or community they are studying, actively observing and often participating in the activities of the participant. This method is commonly used in anthropology and ethnography. So sometimes we need to participate ourselves to have the data, to collect the data. So when the researchers involve him or himself to collect the data from the participants, it is called participant observations. So, which method is better? All the method depending upon the nature of research and nature of the title will tell you which one is the better. The fourth method is to have the content analysis. As it is suggested by its name, content analysis involves systematically analyzing the text, audio, or visual material to identify the pattern, themes, and meanings of the told stories. This method is often used for analyzing documents, transcripts, or media content. For example, you are going to analyze 20 videos regarding the choices of the weather and seasons in European countries. If you analyze such kind of content, you see the videos and get the idea what people are saying. Or for example, you are analyzing the text. If you have received 20 stories about any particular topic, and it is up to you if you analyze the text and what theme or what content is analyzed according to your own perception. Surveys with open-ended questions. Open-ended mean you don't have any choices, prerequisites to, predefined categories. There are open choices to tell the answers. Surveys can include open-ended questions that allow participants to provide qualitative responses in addition to quantitative data. If qualitative and quantitative data comes together, if you have two kind of methodologies, qualitative and quantitative, such kind of methodologies are called mixed methodologies. This combination can provide a more comprehensive understanding about the topic of the research. Case studies, in-depth exploration of one or a few cases or individual is known as case study. It involves collecting data from various sources, such as interviews, observations, and a document. If I give you an example from our society or social aspects, if the intelligence companies need to have some investigation regarding some matter, and if they involve one case to be investigated and they collect data from various sources, it will be the case studies. Visual and creative method. These methods involve using visual aids, photography, art, or other creative techniques to help participants express their thoughts and experiences. So visual and creative methods are novel and are very much being used in qualitative studies in which visual aid, photography, art, and other creative techniques are being analyzed to answer the research questions. Historical and document analysis. Examining historical records, archival documents, or existing text can provide insights into past events or cultural context. Narrative analysis. In this type of data collection procedure, researchers analyze and interpret personal stories, narrative, or life histories to understand the meaning and significance of these accounts. So it means historical document analysis and narrative analysis are very much important, where we need to have analysis from the available sources in form of document, histories, personal stories, life histories, and understand the meaning of significance of the accounts. Such kind of data collection procedure in qualitative analysis are used where our research question is to analyze some personalities, some old content, some old events. For example, you want to know about the cases of malaria from the history, and if you see the content related to malaria and you make the themes and you analyze the things according to malaria when it was spread very first time, it will help you to collect the data as per historical and document analysis. The 10th type of data collection procedure in qualitative research is an online and social media data. This kind of data is very much being utilized in recent in recent researches, where researcher can collect data from online forums, social media platforms, and websites to explore digital communication and online behaviors. In audio and video recording, we actually analyze the recorded interviews, focus groups. Observation can capture verbal and non-verbal cues, which can be analyzed later for insights. For example, uh, you uh, you analyze 20 talks regarding the COVID-19 when it was spread in China, through China, to the whole world. If you see the strategies of top class scientists or people regarding this topic, so it may help you to have their insights through their focus groups, through their recorded versions, or verbal or non-verbal cues. You can have a very good idea about the policies, and you can correlate those talks with the current policies to cope with the COVID-19. Biographical researches are again used where you need to know about the biography of someone. Focusing on individuals' life stories, trajectories to understand how their experiences shape their identities and perspective. For example, you want to know about the scientist of the world, you need to know about their personalities, you need to know about their biographies, so that you can have good idea about their personalities, about their visions, about their scientific visions, and you can analyze as per your research topic. The next is symbolic interaction. This approach focuses on the interpretation of symbols and how individuals assign meaning to symbol in their interaction with others. So see how the data collection procedure emerges one by one from individual to individual interview to analyzing the symbolic interaction. So this type of data collection procedures help where the symbols are being used to tell the stories or tell the meaning of their feelings. For example, if I relate this with the sign language, if I relate with the emojis, if I relate with the expressions, it will be very much clear where symbolic interactionism is used to tell the insider's point of view about someone research questions. So analyzing qualitative research in health science involves systematically examining and interpreting the data collected through qualitative methods to generate meaningful insights and contribute to our understanding of the health-related phenomena. Here is a step-by-step guide to analyzing the qualitative research in health sciences. So for example, you have some topics in your mind where you need to conduct an interview for some particular research question, and any of the past 13 told procedures you have opted one, and now you need to analyze your data. So I'll tell you how you can proceed to analyze your data step by step. So you have collected the data. Now, what are required? The first step is data preparation. In data preparation, the major task is making the transcriptions. If the data consists of interviews or focus groups, start by transcribing the audio recording into written text. Data management, it helps us in organizing the data into a manageable format, such as text document or qualitative data analysis software. Few softwares are being used in qualitative research. If you want to learn about those, you can learn NVivo and the other softwares which can help you to analyze the data. So transcription is very much important. What is transcription? Basically, if the data consists of interviews or focus groups, start by transcribing the audio recording into written text. For example, you have 20 people whose talks are recorded and it's with you. And now you need to write down, for example, if you need to write down my lecture in text, it is called transcription. If you write down my lectures one word by word, and if you analyze all the major points what I told you during this lecture, is the transcription. So after the transcription, you need to manage your data. Anywhere you collect data, you need to manage after transcription or after coding the data. Then familiarization is important step where we read through the entire data set to become familiar with the content. We usually make a mistake when we transcribe. We start basically organizing and analyzing the data. We start writing the main theme of the data without getting familiar with the data. So important point is, first of all, read the data again and again. Until unless you feel that you are familiar with the content, what people are now trying to say. Take notes on initial impressions, patterns, and interesting quotes or statements. So you need to take notes. For example, from whole audio or from whole written content, written text, you may not find too much things to be analyzed. So it is important to make the notes. Start taking notes from very first point that was discussed and that was scientifically important to answer the question. Then code the data. Using coding to systematically categorize and label different parts of the data. Codes are typically keywords or short phrases that represent themes, concepts, or ideas. For example, you want to know about the perception of people when they're diagnosed with HCV. Everyone telling you, I was afraid, I was not satisfied with the diagnosis. I went to PCR. My doctor told me that this is treatable. So look, these four themes I derived from the whole story they told. So now you need to give them code or make the keywords what I told you about the perception of hepatitis C people when they were diagnosed at first. Codes can be deductive based on the existing theory or inductive emerging from the data set. So if you revise your previous lecture where we discussed about the qualitative and quantitative differences, the major difference was deductive and inductive paradigm of the qualitative research. So it apply multiple rounds of coding as needed to capture. For example, you once made the keywords, you once made the code, you need it again and again. You need it again and again until unless you make the final themes or final analysis of the perceptions. So consider using software like I told you, NVivo or Atlas.ti to assist with coding and data organization. Once you code, once you organize, this software can help you in analysis. But the true researchers, qualitative researchers, they believe on the analysis without these softwares, because when you involve softwares, you may miss something. And if you do not have too much expertise, people say that the qualitative research should be done by the top, by the experts, by the research experts who have expertise in qualitative data analysis. So theme development is fourth point that is again very much important. Group related codes into the border themes or categories, identify commonalities, pattern, and variations with the data. It helps to ensure that themes accurately represent the data and the research questions. So once you basically get familiar with the data, you code them, you make the keywords. After revising again and again, after finalizing your keywords, making the codes, you need to develop the themes now. So if you develop the themes identify the common things, identify the pattern, identify the variation within the data. For example, among the 20 people, 5 are saying this, 5 are saying this, 7 are saying this, and 3 are saying this. So this is very much important if their points is in agreement or disagreement with each other. You need to ensure that themes accurately represent the data and research question you asked. Then data synthesis or data analysis is very much important. Synthesis is the theme, synthesize the themes and their relationship to create a coherent narrative. Now look, you made the themes, and after making the themes, you make the you need to make the coherent narrative so that you now make the answers to your research question with the help of derived theme and keywords. Consider how the themes contribute to answering the research question or addressing the research objectives. So constant comparison is very much important. Continuously comparison new data with existing data. Data codes to refine and validate the emerging. For example, you have collected already data from 20 people, or you analyze 5 people among 20, then from other 5, then from other 5. You see what thing is constant that is coming through these themes, through these keywords, so that you can reach on a decisions about your research question. Look for negative cases or outliers that may challenge or enhance the emerging themes. There may be something very unique or very away from the routine themes or routine keywords. So you need to cope with them actively. So situate your findings within the relevant theoretical framework or existing literature in the health sciences. Explore how your themes contribute or extend existing theories. So this is again common. If I say this is basically some kind of discussion of what is available in the literature, what is told in the literature, and what your people are telling you. So you can compare. You can make the logical comparison between the themes to explored themes to contribute or extend the existing theory. This is the step that tells you, is it related to the available literature, or these are the new finding to add in the literature. If these are the new finding, literature is deficient from your finding, you can add the knowledge in the literature. So reflexivity, it is kind of like the biases may have influenced the analysis. Some people may told you about your they may have some grudges with the organization or with the policies. They may tell their inner heat to exploit the situation. So you need to be very keen while analyzing your data, and you need to have very transparent. You maintain the transparency by the document, by decision making the process. Sometimes people outspoke about the policies, about the government, about the things. So you need to be very transparent with the told perception and the research question. Triangulation, again, you can utilize this step to analyze the data. Consider using multiple sources of data or involving multiple researchers to enhance the validity of the finding. So triangulation helps you if the things are by chance or by science. So compare finding from different data sources or researchers to identify convergence or divergence. You can use different sources to validate your findings, to validate your themes, to validate your keywords, to validate the things you are going to publish. So you can triangulate and you can compare the finding from different data sources or researches to identify the convergence or divergence. For example, you have asked if one focus group, you have taken data from one focus group, you may need to ask the expert, you may need ask to have the to have another point of view so that you can confirm the things you are going to publish. So member checking is again a serious step in qualitative research. If possible, share your finding with the participant. For example, you have enrolled 20 people in a focus group discussion. What you found, share it with the participant to ensure that their perspective are accurately represented, or there is something wrong with your perception while making the theme, while making the keyword, while organizing the data, while analysis of the data. So then you may go for the report writing. Write a clear and coherent research report that includes a description of the methodology, presentation of the findings, and a discussion of their implication. Again, when you for example, it was an article, research article, or for example, it was your thesis. So there will be peer review process. See feedback from the peers or expert in the field to enhance the rigor or credibility of your analysis. So if it was sent to a journal, always consider the reviewed content. You may need to refine your analysis, refine your tools, refine your things to have the better knowledge to contribute for the community. So here I will tell you a real-time example for qualitative analysis. In research, I request you just go back and revise all the things, then see this real-time example that will help you to understand the things. So let's go to the real-time example. For example, your research question is to know about someone's perception when they were diagnosed with type 2 diabetes mellitus. The research question is, how do individuals diagnosed with type 2 diabetes perceive and manage their condition in their daily lives? When they are diagnosed, how they manage? You ask the people, you go to the patients, you go to the community, you go to the diabetic center, collect the data, and have an in-depth interview with individuals diagnosed with type 2 diabetes to gather their experience and perspectives. These interviews are transcribed verbatim and form the qualitative data. You get the verbs, their words, you get the words, and you will manage through qualitative data analysis approaches. So the researcher began by coding the interview transcripts. During this process, the researcher identified and labeled significant phrases or statements in the data. For instance, from 20 people, he gathered all the record, all the interviews, and he made the codes, or he coded dietary choices and restrictions. People are telling about their dietary choices and restrictions when they are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes mellitus. Their emotional impact of the diagnosis, how they were emotionally relaxed or disturbed when it was diagnosed. Medication adherence challenges. For example, this data is taken from the community of Lahore. See, the people you have quoted from their interviews, people are talking about three things: about the dietary restrictions, about the diagnosis and their emotions during diagnosis, and medication adherence challenges. You took all these quotes from the told stories. After taking the quotes, you developed the theme. How you develop the theme? As coding progress, the researcher starts to notice pattern and recurring themes within the data. These themes represent common experience and perception across participants. For example, struggles with the dietary changes, emotional toll of diabetes management, barriers to consistent medication uses. So from the codes, you developed the theme. And from three codes, you developed three themes. Then constant comparison. You add more people. The researcher continuously compare new data to existing codes and themes to refine and validate their accuracies. He keep collecting data and comparing with the existing theories and told stories. If a new interviews discuss difficulties with the dietary choices, the researcher considers whether it aligned with the existing theme of struggles with the dietary changes. and so on. He's keep doing until unless the data is validated. Then theoretical framework is being made. The researcher situates the emerging themes within a theoretical framework for existing literature on diabetes management. Then member checking. Member checking means you share the theme, code, the content with the people, whether we perceived their text well or not. The researcher shares the preliminary finding with some of the studies participant to ensure that their experiences are accurately represented in the analysis. This step can help validate the credibility of the findings. Then you start report writing. The researcher compiles the findings into a research report, including quotes and experts from the interviews to illustrate key points. The report discusses how the themes shed light on the daily experience of individuals managing type 2 diabetes and the implication for healthcare providers and policymakers. Then it is being implicated. So implications are very much important. It is being implemented through the policymakers to cope with the people's problems. The qualitative data analysis reveals that individuals with type 2 diabetes face significant emotional and practical challenges in management of their condition. The themes highlight the need for more tailored support, improved patient education, and healthcare intervention for the adherence of their treatment that addresses not only the medical aspect, but also the emotional, lifestyle challenges associated with diabetes management. So this is basically the theoretical framework you make. When someone is diagnosed with diabetes mellitus, he may have emotional issues, he may have psychological disorders, he may psychologically become ill or sick after the diagnosis of type 2 diabetes mellitus. He may have the challenges to adherence with the treatment, and the other related things that you developed from the theme need to be implemented, need to be sorted out through the policymakers or through the stakeholders. So by conducting qualitative analysis in this health research example, the researcher gained a deeper understanding of the lived experience of individuals with type 2 diabetes, which can inform the development of more effective healthcare strategies and interventions tailored to the need of the patients. So while doing the qualitative research or any type of research, be ethical. Ethical considerations are important. So ensure that your analysis respect the confidentiality, anonymity of participant, especially when sharing verbatim quotes. For example, if you are sharing the words and the verbs as the people told you, you have to be very careful about the anonymity. Never announce anyone's name, never publish anyone's name, never tell these things was told by that person. So respect the privacy, respect the secrecy of the told content. Analyzing the qualitative research in health science is a rigorous and iterative process that requires careful attention to detail, a deep understanding for the subject matter, as we have already discussed these things in very much detail, and a commitment to maintaining the integrity of the data and the research process. It is through this analysis that researchers can contribute valuable insight to the field of health science and inform healthcare practices and policies. Thank you very much for listening. You can join me for the detailed on these contents and for further lectures. Thank you very much.